going to vote the day of voting. That's when I'm going to vote.
Tonight on GradyNewsource, find out if early voting brought out the crowd.
Well, someone called me daddy all the time, so I guess I got a great impact.
And we will introduce you to Robert Harris, aka Daddy, first recipient of the Pursuit of Excellence Award.
Coming up, find out why North Oconee High School will be at more of a disadvantage than usual.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is GradyNewsource.
But our top story tonight, Athens-Clarke County High School graduation rates hit a 4-year low. I'm Brianna Belser.
And I'm Gitu Vailor. The number of students who graduate from Clarke County high schools is even lower than the state's average. We join NewsSource reporter Morgan Hall for the details. Morgan, just how much did these graduation rates drop?
Guys, here's the bottom line. Graduation rates for the state of Georgia continue to improve, while at the same time, Clarke County's graduation rates are going in the opposite direction. Take a look at the numbers. From 2011 to 2014, numbers went down nearly 3%. But in that same time period, graduation rates for the state of Georgia have increased nearly 5%. Now, when you compare 2014 rates to last year, the drop in the number of people who graduate is even more dramatic. In 2013, nearly 70% made it out of high school in Clarke County. But in 2014, the numbers are barely above 63%. At that same time, from year to year, the average graduation rate for the state of Georgia has grown more than 5 percentage points. We reached out to the Clarke County School Superintendent's office. We were told that Dr. Philip Leno is out of the state and is unavailable for comment. So we reached out to several Board of Education members. District 2 member Vernon Payne said, "We developed a policy and a curriculum to pass on to the superintendent." We also reached out to another Board of Education member, Carl Parks, and he had to say that he hasn't had the chance to look at the numbers, so he can't comment until the monthly meeting next Thursday. GradyNewsource will cover the meeting next Thursday and will let you know how your school officials plan to address this problem.
Tomorrow is your last chance to early vote. If you choose to do that, you will join the thousands who have already cast their ballots early. We join reporter Naomi Seifu live from our newsroom. Naomi, this may be the largest voter turnout in years.
The numbers are certainly trending that way, and we won't know the final results until Tuesday. One of the examples of people lined up these past few days in front of the Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections office. Gail Schrader, Supervisor of Elections and Voter Registration, says she is impressed with the voter turnout in Athens.
I've been surprised, I really have, that we've had such a strong turnout, and I think this is happening across the state. So it'll be interesting to see what our final turnout is on Tuesday.
More than 56,000 people are registered to vote, and already more than 6,000 have cast their vote.
I like to go early, and that's what I do. I go early. Then, but we have so many people that say, "Hey, no, I'm gonna vote that day," and they like doing that. But it's so good that everybody don't feel like that, you know.
Tomorrow, October 31st at 5 p.m. is the final deadline to early vote in person for this upcoming election. If you miss that deadline, your next and last chance in this year's general election will be Tuesday, November 4th. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. Here are some reminders about voting for Tuesday. Make sure you bring a photo ID with you and know where your voter precinct is. You can check that online or call the Board of the Elections at 706-613-3150 and they will be glad to help with any questions. Live from the newsroom, Naomi Seifu.
A new study shows that all work and no play does make Jack a dull boy. Reporter Brianna Watts caught up with a student juggling 3 jobs and how that impacts her health.
Meet Jamara Montgomery. By day, she's a transit worker. Some days, she's a college student. By night, she works as a sales clerk. Other nights, she hosts marketing events for a local company. By anyone's standard, Jamara Montgomery is a busy person.
It's just stressful, like having something always to do with like work and then having school work to do. Like, there's 2 totally different lifestyles, and then having to make sure that you can do them all together.
Lead author on a new study called All Work and No Play, Melissa Clark agrees with Montgomery's comments and reveals why overworking may bring workers stress.
So students at UGA might do things like spend more time on their schoolwork and on aspects of their job, spend more time on that than what's reasonably expected.
Workaholism describes a condition where someone's need for work becomes so excessive that it begins to interfere with their personal health and happiness. So that means employers may not be getting their money's worth for workers.
We conceptualize workaholism as an addiction. This isn't something that just starts once people go out into the workforce. This is something that they have tendencies through, throughout their life.
Clark also noted a trend among millennials and is hopeful that there will be more organizations boasting a family-friendly culture rather than a workaholic culture. Brianna Watts, GradyNewsource.
Swerving around parked vehicles sticking out in the street is dangerous, and this is a danger that Athens leaders want to change. Reporter Julianne Aberly has the story.
I am standing on East Broad Street between Jackson and Thomas Street. This is where Athens residents are having problems with vehicles sticking out into the road. In fact, I have seen this all day. As you can see behind me, the cars driving by are just inches from these parked cars. But the Athens-Clarke County Board of Commissions has received a proposal to change this.
If you have driven on East Broad Street in downtown Athens, you have probably seen it or swerved to miss it. Vehicles sticking out in the street, specifically oversized vehicles. Regarding these vehicles, Pamela Thompson, the executive director of the Athens Downtown Development Authority, says,
when it parks in those spaces, it becomes a danger for the traffic that's just trying to travel down Broad Street, and there have been occasions where there have been accidents.
14 accidents related to this problem have been reported since 2011. To help with this, the city wants to paint a stripe at the end of the parking space. If your vehicle is over this line, you could get a fine for parking there.
I think what we're trying to do is just make sure that the ordinance is very clear so that people will understand what's acceptable and what's not.
The stripe might not stop people from sticking out into the street, but a $50 fine will be issued if they do anyway.
We will give you an update if this passes at the next Board of Commissions meeting. From downtown Athens, I'm Julianne Aberly. Back to you at the news desk.
Have you picked your costume out yet? Well, hopefully it doesn't stir up any controversy. Find out what one group is warning the community to watch what they wear.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course.
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
We've all heard about Teachers of the Year and Merit Scholars, but the Oconee County Board of Education is honoring someone with a new award that they say is long overdue. Lonnie Gibson is here to explain. Lonnie?
Yes, this man is special to everyone at Collins Ferry Elementary. The ladies in the front office couldn't talk about him without shedding a tear.
Aw.
These second graders can't wait to see Mr. Robert Harris, or Mr. Robert, as they call him.
Someone called me daddy all the times.
And Mr. Robert is proud of the impact that he leaves on students every single day.
Always waving, telling me hey, and they tell me all kinds of stories, so it has some good impact.
It's the kind of impact that most teachers would love to make on their students. But Mr. Roberts isn't a teacher. Mr. Roberts starts each school day at 4 in the morning. He drives students to and from school on the bus. Then he goes to Collins Ferry Elementary, where he works as the head custodian. He's been doing both for 33 years. Second grade teacher Bill Nelson says, it's one word to describe Mr. Roberts.
When you think of the word respect, not only do you think of Mr. Robert respecting the people and the students and the faculty here, but they respecting him in turn. So I think respect is a wonderful word that would sum up Mr. Robert.
Faculty and staff at Collins Ferry say Mr. Roberts' award was long overdue. And no one wants to imagine Collins Ferry without him.
He is the spirit of Collins Ferry.
Mr. Roberts says getting kids home safely is important, but he's most proud of making an impact.
It's people like that that we need in our life to inspire our kids.
Yeah. And making people smile, that's just priceless.
It really is. I needed a Mr. Robert when I was in elementary school.
Absolutely sweet. Also related to schools, slow internet access in Georgia schools may become a problem of the past. Over 100 school districts in the state are sharing a $35 million grant to help with high-speed internet access. The Governor's Office of Student Achievement announced this week the program called Connections for Classrooms. The goal for this grant is to ensure Georgia schools and classrooms have access for digital learning. Barrow, Clark, Hall, Jackson, and Madison County are among the 103 districts to have been rewarded. The program hopes to have every school district in the state receive faster internet service by July 2015.
A third healthcare center is set to open early next year here in Athens. Athens Neighborhood Health Center is expanding to the west side of town on Old Jefferson Road. They already have 2 other locations in East Athens and downtown. Director of Marketing Jennifer Richardson says the expansion is to ensure everyone has access to a healthcare location without having to worry about transportation. Richardson adds this is the most they've grown in the 43 years they've been a part of this community.
The line between offensive and celebratory can be blurry. Directors at the Multicultural Services and Programs at the University of Georgia remind people to think before they choose their Halloween costumes. Social media has been abuzz about recent Ebola and Ray Rice costumes, and the MSP office points out that Halloween is meant to be funny and Ebola and domestic violence are not. The assistant director of MSP explains why these costumes, as well as cultural garb, could be offensive.
Costumes are meant to be funny. You get to kind of make fun of somebody's ethnicity or race that they can't take off. It's their everyday lived experience.
The history behind cultural clothing is something to be considered. Freya says, your intent may not be to offend, but you should think twice about the costume you wear tomorrow.
The Lady Dogs volleyball team is on the road to redemption and helping the community along the way. Find out how next.
The people here are warm and friendly and actually quite affectionate.
For me, it's like the people and just like the campus is like super pretty.
There's a sense of pride on campus and a sense of community that you really can't find anywhere else.
People's great, the food's great, the dogs are great.
Everyone's been just super welcoming.
What if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
And now, sports.
Joey Ripley here with your Northeast Georgia sports. In high school teams will have a tougher time than usual in getting fans to show up for their games tomorrow night because of Halloween and Georgia-Florida weekend. Reporter Justin Fedich tells us how teams are responding. Justin, who'd you talk to today?
I went to North Oconee High School and Prince Avenue Christian School. Both teams will be on the road tomorrow night for Halloween, but they aren't too worried about not having nearly as many fans as usual.
We have to go there and play, on a Halloween night in a hostile environment, so hopefully our kids will be ready for it.
Playing without their fans may be even tougher for teams like North Oconee and Prince Avenue Christian, who have to play on the road. Junior guard Tyler Breedlove says some of his loyal friends won't be supporting him this weekend.
They decided that they were going to take this week off and they were just going to get off of school and just go down to Georgia, Florida, and I was just like, really, guys? But the crowd will probably be less. There'll probably be less people.
The 5-3 North Oconee Titans are trying to erase from their memories a 58-3 loss they suffered last Friday to Buford. The locks on this gate that lead to North Oconee Stadium will remain there tomorrow night as North Oconee travels an hour and a half to Stevens County. Head coach Terry Tolley said a team that normally benefits from a well-traveled fan base will be at a disadvantage tomorrow night.
Georgia, Florida probably costs us a ton, so I think it'll be tough sledding as far as a lot of people going.
North Oconee senior quarterback Tate Adcock says he won't be thinking about Halloween or Georgia, Florida tomorrow night.
We didn't play good last week, but we can definitely rebound off that and definitely get a win, be the second seed.
North Oconee and Prince Avenue Christian will each kick off their games at 7:30 tomorrow night.
Thanks, Justin. Speaking of Florida, Georgia's girls volleyball team lost in 3 games to the 8th-ranked Gators last night at Stegman Coliseum. More than 1,400 fans showed up at Georgia's Dig Pink match against the Gators. People purchased pink t-shirts for a minimum $5 donation in support of breast cancer awareness. The Bulldogs raised more than $1,500. The money will go to the Athens Regional Breast Health Center. As for the game, the Bulldogs dropped 3 straight games, 16-25, 8-25, and 24-26. Head coach Lizzie Stemke talks about playing hard despite the loss.
We don't want to regret not leaving it out on the floor, and we had to find the personality that we've been building in the last couple weeks.
Georgia now falls to 10-12 on the season, 2-8 in conference play. Florida is now 17-3 and remain undefeated in the SEC with 11 wins. With your Northeast Georgia sports, I'm Joey Ripley.
Find out just how spooky your evening will be this year on Halloween night in Athens, and find out what the weather will be like in Jacksonville, Florida for the game.
25% of Athens residents use septic systems. And if you're on a septic system, you need to know it and protect it. Most homes should have their septic system pumped and inspected every 3 to 5 years. Septic failure can lead to messy backups, health and environmental hazards, and costly repairs. So, protect your septic system by performing regular maintenance. Never use a toilet as a trash can. And use water wisely. For helpful tips and more info on septic systems, visit athensclarkcounty.com/septic.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
We finally bought a place.
Holy cow!
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome to the Athens-Clarke County Tennis Center in Athens, Georgia. Completed in 2013, the Tennis Center offers great play all year round on 12 fully lit hard surface courts. There are accommodations for spectators and enough space to host a tournament. The main building features energy-efficient construction, ADA accessibility, a covered pavilion, and much more. Players of all ages enjoy open play, clinics, and summer tennis camps at the Athens-Clarke County Tennis Center. Because in Athens, Georgia, tennis is for everyone.
Lainey, please tell me it's going to be sunny in Jacksonville this weekend.
Yes, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I'm really excited. I'll tell you more at the weather wall.
And now, the weather.
Hi, I'm student meteorologist Lainey Hanna with your Northeast Georgia weather forecast. With that heat wave finally over, fall-like temperatures are back, and we will expect temperatures to cool down for the rest of the weekend, and unfortunately, Halloween will be a bit cold and breezy this year. Here's the setup for tomorrow. We have a cold front to our west. It's passing through the Tennessee Valley at the moment, and it will arrive tomorrow evening and to the early hours of Saturday morning. So keep that in mind when you are trick-or-treating, because we could see some precipitation along this front, especially in parts of northeastern Georgia. Now for our forecast for tomorrow, high of 67 and mostly sunny skies. And for tomorrow night, by 8 p.m., we are sitting at 56 degrees, but we could see gusts up to 23 miles per hour, so it'll definitely feel colder than 56 during those gusty winds. And if you are going to St. Simon's Island, we have a high of 72, nice and sunny. High tide, however, is at 1:49 p.m. So if you do have valuables on the beach, please keep that in mind, as the tide could sweep those to sea. And the war for the ore finally begins this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Looking really nice at 76 degrees, a little breezy, 9 to 13 miles per hour, but the game should be really enjoyable. Now for our 5-day forecast, with the arrival of that cold front Friday night and into early Saturday morning, our highs and lows are affected dramatically. 54 as our high and 38 as our low. Some of the coldest temperatures we'll be seeing this season. And so we'll be gradually warming up though the rest of the weekend, and by Tuesday warming up to 70 degrees with a low 41. And I hope you guys have an enjoyable and safe weekend. Back to you guys.
Students from the Baptist Collegiate Ministry are hitting the road to Jacksonville on 2 wheels instead of 4.
Find out why coming up.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Ballerina.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
Earlier in the show, we said that the graduation rate for the state of Georgia has increased 5% from 2013 to 2014. The 5% increase in graduation rates is from 2011 to 2014.
A group of local bicyclists is on its way to the big Georgia-Florida game, and not in cars, on bicycles. The cyclists began the 300-mile trek from Athens to Jacksonville, Florida at around 9:30 this morning and will ride through the night. Heather Hyatt tells you why this group of riders is making this trip for the 14th time. Heather?
The name of the group is the Baptist Collegiate Ministry. I'm here at their facility where they left hours ago for their trip to Jacksonville. Here is their app where you can follow any bicycler at any time. Right now they are on Rhodes Mill Road, which is about 70 miles from Athens, which means they're about halfway or a third of the way to Jacksonville right now. This year, Lindsay Lee is working behind the computer, but she knows what the trip is like. She says her ride was a little bit easier. Her year, they could stop for sleep each night.
I think just the accomplishment of being able to ride that far, I never thought I would be able to bike the whole way down there.
Bicycling is not easy. It is at times tiring, so why make the trip? This bike ride is not just for fun. All proceeds go to Stand Up Now charity. The charity helps each student go on mission trips across the world this summer. BCM riders raise at least $300 each. Some have raised over $1,000. Because of this ride, students will be able to go on mission trips around the world. The Baptist Collegiate Ministry thinks it raised $6,000 to $7,000 this year from donations. They will be sending students to Peru, Romania, and the Philippines for medical mission trips. Other students will go to help with disaster relief from Hurricane Sandy. I'm Heather Hyatt reporting live from the BCM. Back to you guys.
Wow, Gitu, I am dreading this 5-hour drive to Jacksonville. And they're taking bikes.
I know, it's absolutely crazy.
At least it's for a good cause, though.
It's Halloween Eve and Georgia-Florida weekend is coming up. We have everything you need to know about the festivities. Russell Abad has some highlights for enjoying the big rivalry game. Russell, what do we need to know?
To make it easy to give you all this information, I'm going to break it down to this acronym, GAFFLE. That's short for Georgia, Florida. It's a hashtag that's making headway on Twitter. Let's talk about it starting with the letter G. A lot of talk is about the guy with the reputation as a game changer on the field, Todd Gurley. Right now, Gurley is not allowed to play until the November 15th game against Auburn. The NCAA is still reviewing Georgia's appeal concerning Gurley's discipline and can reduce or remove the conditions, but cannot increase them. A is for absent, from school and from work, because thousands of Georgians make the trek to Jacksonville every year for this huge football game. Some students stop off first time at Frat Beach on St. Simon's Island. Last year, 8,000 students showed up and dropped off 21,000 pounds of trash. This year, Glenn County is asking beachgoers not to litter and to move festivities down to the beach closer to the Coast Guard station to avoid high tides. Lastly, L stands for law. This will be the first Georgia-Florida game since the state of Georgia passed the 911 medical amnesty law. That means students at Frat Beach will have immunities from certain arrests if they seek medical help for a drug overdose. That's what you can expect this weekend. We'll be back with all your Georgia-Florida highlights. Until then, keep up with us on Twitter at GradyNewsource, and don't forget to use the hashtag GAFFLE.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Brianna Belser.
And I'm Gitu Vailor. Stay tuned for the post show.
Good night.
GradyNewsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today. Or a book report to give. I wish I was in school. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess. I wish I was in school. I wish I was in school. I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summermeals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
Happy pre-Halloween, everyone. I think the show was really pretty good. But we'll get to that. So, Dodie, you go ahead with your review.
I walked in here earlier and I said, you know, I want to tell you the show was really good because it had some real high points in it. And some real high points in it. And as I mentioned to our guest, I produced far worse shows in, you know, the professional environment. So I had some real high points, and we're going to go over those. But we're not going to give you an Oscar, and you're not going to stand still. You have still got a lot to learn. But there were some really high moments. Russell Bosco, what you going to say about me? What you going to say about me? You were fabulous.
Russell also
I loved it. It was interesting. It was an engaging moment. It wasn't, you know, earth-shattering news. It wasn't really quite EAS, but you did push me forward. You did tell me. What did I say?
AES.
Okay, well, pardon me. A correction. But you did push us forward to something, but it was a magic moment and people liked it. But I would like to hear from our guests.
Absolutely.
First. Would you want to come on up here?
All right. Everyone, this is Alex Boswell visiting back in Athens.
Hey. Now remember, Alex has been a producer and was a GradyNewsourcer, so.
Yeah, it is.
Could also, since you were here on Tuesday, at the end, kind of like what I wanted today was different, good or bad.
I was asked to come back. I was here on Tuesday. If y'all don't remember, you probably are all looking at me like, oh, great, she's back. But for those of you that don't remember, I actually produced the news for about 10 months in Augusta, and now I actually work in the admissions office here at UGA. And I came back to kind of look and see where you guys are, what you guys are doing now. So much different than Tuesday. You guys came in swinging, and I could tell, and it was a good show. And like Dodie said, you're not going to win an Oscar. It's not, and Dodie looked at me and she goes, I've produced worse shows. I was like, I've produced some pretty terrible shows, but that was a great show, and you all should be very proud of yourselves. But like Dodie said, you guys have a long way to go, and that's what's beautiful about this is it's a wonderful learning curve. There were just a couple things that I had. I know I said that last time, but the bus package, I wish I could have heard some gnat sounds. You had kids, you had just a little bit of gnat sound underneath that or like a gnat pop here or there, just so I could get the feel that you were around kids. All I heard was your track, and I was like, that sounds like dead silence. Just as a side note, don't look at the for anchors, for anybody who anchors, don't look straight at the camera when you're talking to the person to your left. You're trying to have a conversation with that person that's watching you, and so it's great to like talk to them and then maybe mention something, but don't like say a response to them right in front of the camera and just go, yeah, that was great, so and so. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and it's not a conversation. Oh, nice stinger to OTS. I loved that. I love Sing Stinger to OTS. I love Sing Stingers to OTS, full screens, whatever. It really helps the show keep going, and it keeps the show moving, I think is the best word. This is just as a side note, and I don't know if you guys do this, but if you go into the professional setting, your show is going to be streamed on the web most of the time now. So what you two are saying, even if it's a commercial break, even whatever, people are going to hear it. We've had people, tweet at us and say, I heard what you said on it while you guys were in commercial break, and we don't think about that. But it's something that you need to kind of put in the back of your mind. a lot of the times our anchors will cover up their mics before they say something to each other. So that's really helpful. But just as a side note, make sure you watch what you're saying, even when you're in commercial break, because people are watching online.
Horrible things get out there.
Yeah, and it's silly things that it could have been stopped. Oh, sports. I loved sports today. It was really good again. But when you're tossing to somebody, people don't understand that he's literally 2 feet away from you. So when you look to him, I know you want to look to him, and I know you want to try and make it like they know that he's about 5 feet away from you. But the whole point of these shots is to make the studio seem bigger than we actually are, because a lot of people don't realize how tiny that room is. But when you look at him, it's just kind of like, what is he looking at? Like, he's like looking off in La La Land.
And right when I did that, when we were recording that, I was like, oh wait, there was a double.
But I really like that you had a reporter. I really loved that. And then try not to use shaky camera movements. I know that you're trying to catch a lot of things, and a lot of things are going on. But if you use shaky camera movements in your package, it just makes me go, okay, next station. Like, this is, it's too much. It's too much going on. But that'll get better as you do more. Don't call it the weather wall. Oh, it's a huge pet peeve. Call it a weather center. Call it a weather whatever. Just other than, nobody knows that it's a wall. A lot of people have no idea that that thing behind you is green. Have no idea. There's a lot of weather people that get upset on St. Patrick's Day when people are like, why don't you wear a green tie? And weathermen are like, you can't wear a green tie. It doesn't work that way.
That's awesome. I love that.
What was funny was David Shanley in Atlanta actually had to do a whole web video on the fact that I can't wear green and this is why. And did the whole walkthrough with it, which was really cool.
Funny. That's really funny.
And it's a memorable moment that I remember, even if it was online. Big pet peeve of mine, and you can disagree with me if you want to.
No, I don't disagree with anything.
I hate when people go, back to you guys. I hate that.
Oh, I hate it.
I hate it so much. It slows down the newscast so much, it makes me want to cry. It's like, just a quick, guys, all you need is say what you need to say, guys, and it goes right back to them.
Sounds long, they're those long burgundy statements. Back to you, right, well, that was my favorite. That's wrong.
I love that the crosstalk at the beginning of weather. I really liked that. I really liked the crosstalk at the beginning of the weather. Weather, just as for anybody who's doing weather, use your hands to be interactive. Like, this is kind of a conversation. You're having a conversation. It's great. So use your hands. Gesture is always great. Split read correction. I would have split that read just so that there was more than just one person going, and this is what happened, and this is why we messed up. Just kind of split the read, have it kind of be more of a conversation.
You can do that on teases too.
And I did actually change one in the show when you said that, but yes, I totally like that.
I don't know if you would do this or not. I thought this is kind of what we do. We started making the lower thirds, instead of GradyNewsource or wherever they were, we do their name and then a Twitter handle, or their name and a Facebook page.
We thought of doing that.
And then we're creating your own GradyNewsource Twitter handle, so people will follow you and people will tweet at you and give you story ideas. I can't tell you how many people get story ideas from Facebook, from Twitter, from whatever, and it is so helpful. So if you guys want to create your own GradyNewsource Twitter, at Alex GradyNewsource or whatever, and it gets your name out there, and people will start following you and giving you great story ideas. People will tweet a picture at Anchor and be like, do you know what's going on here? And that's how we find out a lot of our information. I liked the bike stand-up. Where did you go? Yeah, it was great. I would have done something if you could have grabbed one of your cohorts and been like, hey, I really want to do this great stand-up of me going down the hill on the bike. Because you have a wireless mic, and that's great. Just take that extra step.
I was in a dress, and I didn't have time to go get pants, so I was like,
I understand, but just that little extra is you're gonna be remembered. Great crosstalk. I love that you guys improved that. That was awesome. Good on you guys. Okay, this was the highlight of the newscast, and I'm sure you probably agree with me. Your stand-up. That is the one thing that I remember from the entire newscast, and that you need to put that on your reel. That was awesome. And it was great. You gave great information. You were funny. And that's what people remember. That's what people are going to remember in any newscast. It was awesome.
And you didn't override it. You cut to the chase. Whichever. I was just really glad that, you got in, you were funny, you had valuable information, and you got out.
Yeah. Russell was an overall rock star today because he also ran prompter for us. Thank you, Russell.
You pat yourself on the back. That was an awesome stand-up.
Yeah.
I felt like you guys did a much better show today. I felt like coming back, it was a much better show. You guys knew Tuesday I failed. Thursday is a much better day. And I want you all to realize that when you leave, that I know today's your Friday. I want you guys to go to Georgia, Florida, and be like, yeah, I did something awesome in GradyNewsource. Yes, take that with you, because you guys did an awesome show today. And I just want to come back and say yes. So.
All right, enough of that.
I'm sorry.
No, we're going to go over specific packages, so if you want to stick around for the
Okay,
second
I can
half
Thank
or
you.
whatever, yes. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Extremely.
I can stay.
No. Okay, cool. We're going to go to the digital producer now, and that was Pauline Villanueva. Pauline?
Hello. I was a digital producer today. Today was a pretty busy day, but that's normal. I don't really have any complaints with you guys. A lot of you sent in pictures, so that's good, so that instead of waiting to post your story on the web when you get done with a package at like 4, sending pictures is good so that I can post like the main bulk of your story with a picture, and then I can just add the package later, so that's good. Yeah, I tried to update the web as best that I could. I was able, the packages that I didn't get to put up last Tuesday, I was able to put that up today, so those are on the web, and yeah.
Great.
That's it.
Okay, cool. Well, today's rock star also was Ashley Jetton. Ashley.
I wouldn't go that far, but thank you very much.
Today's show producer.
So I'm going to run through just a few things. Some are good, some are bad. I like mentioning the good stuff sometimes so that you know, oh, okay, that was a good time. I actually did something right, so I can do that again. So first thing is there was only one of you who there's only one of you who where it said lead, package, who was 20 seconds over, and I got that 5 seconds before the newscast started, so I had to up my time 20 seconds or else I was going to lose the whole package. So again, just please keep to your times, because I was actually only heavy by 20 seconds, so I had that stuck maybe, which it was fine though. Lower thirds, this is just, I'm an OCD person, and all of our lower thirds are not in unison. Some use all caps, some use bold, some don't, and I'd rather them all be in unison so that it looks nicer, because I get distracted when I see it, or it's like not fitting well or something. Workaholics, that was you. There was something you did that was really awesome. You said something, and then we saw it, and I love it when you see it and say it, and I was really happy. 3 of you of the reporters did this, and I was like, oh my gosh. So you were leading into a soundbite of someone you had talked to, and it wasn't B-roll of them, it was just them sitting at the desk and their mouth going, and then when their shot started, it was them. So there was no other shots, there was no 2 shots, there was no B-roll of them, and that would have been much better than just seeing them sitting there for 10 seconds as you introduced them. Your stand-up, I liked it, but you could have, where you said, getting their money's worth, you could have had money, and then it would have made sense for you standing there a little bit more than just you standing, but good idea for next time. Russell, there was a point where we were like, oh, AES, forget it, we're gonna do this, and I was just like, no, I just felt it in my heart. The AES is gonna be awesome, and it was, so yippee. Let's see, I learned, a few things I wrote down that I learned from today. Number 1 is the director, Dylan, ran through, he was kind of mad at me a few times today, but it was awesome because the show was great because he was able to run through it like 3 times, knew what he was doing, so that was really great seeing a director who really, I mean, I'm not saying that nobody else, I'm just saying he really, really cared. He was not going to mess up his stuff, and that's awesome. I feel like we worked more as a team today. Like, I had probably everybody coming up, okay, I'm done, what can I do? What can I do to help? And it helped everything happen. Juliana, I just loved your live shot. Like, I was so happy. I think you were a little discouraged walking out the door. Like, I could see in your face you might have wanted to cry, but now it's probably tears of joy because it was very successful. I mean, there really just wasn't anything I was really, really mad about. The main things is just time, and let's see. I think that was all. I'm happy.
You got to a point that I was going to mention, which is the run-throughs. You know, Dylan did a really good job directing today, and part of that was because we had so many he did two technical run-throughs of the A block and 1 legitimate run-through of the A block, which is the most that we've done all semester. So that, I think, really, really helped, and it was a very, very solid A block, which is what is like the focus, I feel like, for us as directors, because we get to B, C, and D, and they're just playing off a playlist, and so.
I think that the reason was because we got all our stuff pre-recorded early.
Yes.
So everything was done, so it was like, what should we do?
Jordan did a very good job editing, and then he had to go out and do a live shot. So really, I think that our crew did a very good job today. You can hold on to that.
This is
yeah.
Last
I thought you were
seconds.
done. I thought I'm cutting you off.
Last 2 seconds. No, you're not. Just I know I ask her for my feedback every time of what I can do better. So if any of you individually have something after the show, I'd love to hear what I can do better. Thank you.
Okay. No, you can hold on to this if you want for now. We're going to go to specific reports, whatever. Okay, so real quick. Run-through is great. We had a couple jump cut. We had one jump cut because we killed a story. So in the future, when all my managers are cutting, when you're cutting teases, there's a coming up stinger. We should use that because sometimes if stories get killed, then the anchor stays the same and whatever. But really a minor thing. I have a lot of minor comments. There's an audio hiccup in Heather's live shot. So there's a part where it goes like, and I don't know what that was, but. Everything else, it was a little grainy, but Julianne's looked really good, and everything worked really well with it. Yeah. The only thing I would say is that earlier in the day, I felt like maybe there was a lack of communication between the pre-show director and you, the producer. Just kind of like try to be in that room as much as possible, but at the same time, we weren't doing a very good job. So for people, my managers, if you're a pre-show director, make sure you have CAN pulled up. Make sure you have, look at the rundown, say, okay, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Because if you say, oh, well, the producer didn't tell me this, I think that's really a bad excuse, to be honest. And I heard that a few times today. So just always be cognizant of that. But everything else was great. I think it was a really solid show. We're going to get into the specific packages here after a 1-minute commercial break. So we're going to roll that, and then we'll come back with our lead A block reporter.
I've been living in Athens, Georgia for most of my life, over 34 years. For me, it's all right. It's not too fast like the big city or, it's real slow. I really enjoy it.
I absolutely love Athens. It's the most completely charming, cool, interesting. It's got a completely different vibe than the rest of Georgia.
Athens is very unique in that it has such a mishmash of cultures in it. You have the college students, you have people who have made a lot of money and then come back, people who have decided to stay. You have a huge arts community, a big food community, all sorts of different types of people who really, really love this essentially small town.
I would say that it's got a lot to do that you wouldn't normally find in a small town.
Okay, welcome back. Dodie Cantrell, take it away.
Okay, so we already blabbed about Russell, and it was precious. It was awesome. It's very creative, and I like that. And some of you had unique gifts for creativity. But I'm going to go to the hard news, to the raison d'etre. We do need to entertain and engage people, but there's a raison d'etre for people watching news, and that is for news and information. Today we had breaking news. But even before the breaking news, here's a challenge that we had. When you guys get frightened, you spend so much time telling me, yourself, your peers, I get maybe your boyfriend and girlfriends, who knows who you tell, that you can't do it, you won't do it, that, oh my God, I'm gonna die, it's gonna be a problem. And I feel like I spend way too much time talking you down from the ceiling. Guys, you got to be past that. Nobody has time for that. Every minute counts. We had an error in the most important breaking news because we have to literally straitjacket somebody to sit down and get it done. You had a wonderful story, and you got the mayor in, and you did so great, but I wonder what your story would have been like, and it was good. You hadn't wasted. Yeah, don't waste time crying about, you will, by golly, expect more of yourselves, believe more of yourself. We do. We wouldn't teach you. We would ignore you. So believe in yourselves a little bit more. You can do it. And you know what? And then if you fail, c'est la vie. Failure's going to happen. But wasting a minute, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, oh my God, you set yourself up for failure. Stop it. I don't want to hear it anymore. And I have no more energy to lift you up like that. I'm not your mom. Do that for yourself. Believe more in yourself. Okay, that's my kumbaya moment, but it's not feel good. You got to get better. This is also the time where you need to critically think more. Don't ask me anymore. Don't quit trying to get me to do your work and write your stories. You can write. Several of you know who you are. Do you like this? You know it's not your best work. Don't game me. Oh, by now, I know what your talents are. So does Professor Hazinski. You know when you're gaming us. Okay, so stop it. You're smarter than that. Anchors. I thought you guys were awesome today. You guys were terrific. You were engaging, you looked at one another, you talked to each other, and you talked to I just thought you were wonderful. Really wonderful. So don't ever be scared again and talk about what you can't do, because you do well. I don't know what show this is. It's not today. Jake, your team members, you know, the show staff volunteers are some of the best people we've got. And I can't tell you how disappointed I am that the last couple of days they haven't taken out live.
Oh, yeah.
If we can't count on them to do it, I just don't want to do live shots. We have young, gorgeous, smart people, and they need to be lit decently, or we all look like morons, and I don't want to see that again. I also don't ever want to see a dissolve. We're news. We're not entertainment tonight. We're not going to dissolve to things, okay? We're going to cut to things and get people as much information in as little time as possible so that they're informed. All right?
Got it. Understood.
Good? Thank you very much. Blah, 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 no dissolve, no freak outs. Nat sound. Morgan, your hands. I think you ended up doing that. I'll tell you what I saw today. Much better teamwork. Much better teamwork. And I was proud of you. And some of you that have kind of stepped into your own skin, I loved your story. And you know what I loved most about your story, Lonnie? By golly, you kept bothering me and annoying me and my God, you made me come back a million times. But you didn't make me write it. But you were so engaged in it. By golly, you were going to make sure that whatever I could offer to help you make it better. And you know what? With that kind of engagement, we will kill ourselves for you. I loved it. And you cared about the person, and you cared about the story, and it was evident. And it's evident when you don't, each of you.
She smiled all day.
Yeah, a lot of you did some good things. Justin Fetich, I liked your story very much. Joey, you were up here with that breaking news, just helping as best you could, and you had a full-time job. Heather, you were just cute as you can be, but if I ever see you dancing in front of a live shot again, I'm gonna come out of the tree.
I didn't even know I was on.
Yeah, and camera.
You weren't on air. You weren't on air.
Always up. You must always look. If there is a camera facing you, assume you're on air. When you guys have your cell phone out facing in my direction, I do this. No, no, I'm kidding. But seriously, if there's a camera around, guys, don't play around. You will get caught out of school. And, you know, I didn't love your dancing, so it would be really bad if you were caught out of school.
Why did you love it?
I don't know, I just didn't. But also, yeah.
You don't know if a TMP is going to push a button and accidentally put your sorry.
And
I can't tell you. Listen, I'm telling you this because it's happened. You're not going to ever know if a TMP is going to accidentally push a button that's going to bring your live shot up.
Yeah, so watch what you say.
You never ever know that.
Watch what you say, watch what you do. Conversely, if somebody's out there having the fidgets, those of you that are running the shots, Heather's doing this. And it was just about, I'm sure it drove our viewers a little nuts. And you were so engaging, and I really loved what you did with the tracker. I was so cool, but I had a hard time getting past this. Guys, we can't talk to her out in the field. So if you're watching the shot, just zoom in your camera a little bit. Take part in making you guys the best you can be.
I thought it was chest, honestly.
Yeah, it wasn't. But a lot of you, a lot of you were really, really, really engaged in what you did. But guys, don't rely on your professors so much for the critical thinking. You need to exercise that part of your brain, okay? You need to exercise. Today, I was spending too much time on just basic stuff that I finally just said, I'm just not telling you anymore. And I'm now willing to let you look like a goober. And it would be a shame if any of you did. So that's all I've got. But some real high moments to build on. And some important places to improve upon.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we have her package loaded up. So Naomi Seifu, who is our lead story about elections.
Sort of lead. We had
sort of lead, yeah.
Okay, well, I did the election update. I didn't come in today thinking I was going to do that. I was going to hope to do Lonnie's, but I'm glad that it turned out good for her and that it worked out. But so Ashley picked me to do it. I didn't know why, but I respected her decision, and it ended up working in my favor. And the first phone call I made, I was able to get an interview and just ask someone standing outside in line waiting to vote. I got them for an interview, and I don't know, just it
worked out.
Yeah, it didn't just work out. You worked out. You did the work. And the news gods smile on those who work. And Naomi, this is not the first time that you've gone out with good attitude. She chose you because she had confidence in you. I asked her about it. So it's good to get a reputation for being somebody that'll get the lead story done. That's a good thing. You need to work a little bit more in terms of understanding your story. Don't walk out of the Board of Elections and come back here and learn about the electoral process, okay? You know, ask those questions there. But it's good to have that reputation. That was good.
Okay, so I was the assignment editor today, and like Cantrell mentioned, we had breaking news, I believe, at like 12 o'clock. I did not receive the email, but Cantrell ran in frantically. We have to get this on the air. We have to get this on the air.
I wasn't frantic. I was motivated.
She was very motivated. And her and Ashley both asked, okay, who are you going to put on the story? Well, when I looked on the rundown, there was nobody that I could put on the story, so I volunteered. And I took on the graduation rates for Athens, and I'll be completely honest, I was not happy about it at first. I guess I just overwhelmed myself, and I got really, really stressed out and a lot of anxiety. But as it went through with a lot of Cantrell's help, I made some really good phone calls, and I got in touch with people that I didn't think from the beginning that I was even going to talk to. And we found out a little bit more about our story than what we had just from the press release. So hopefully with the follow-up on Thursday, next Thursday, we go to that meeting and we find out some more information. But I know that Cantrell was just pointing at me and just laughing when she was talking about getting in a huff and a puff and getting frustrated and getting stressed out.
You weren't the only one.
But today was my day for that, y'all, and I'm just gonna be honest, and I can't thank Joey enough for being behind me the entire rest of the afternoon, because if you wouldn't have been there to help me write out my script, or Chrissy to help, where are you? Right there.
Yeah.
To help me with my graphics, I wouldn't have gotten that in the A block. Like, that wouldn't have been at the beginning. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for helping me. And I'm ready for next week. Bring it on.
It was good teamwork. It was good teamwork. And yeah, Chrissy and Joey. Joey was like a little barnacle. He just stuck to you like glue. He was there like a life coach. I was waiting for him to give her a massage. Yeah. That's good. That's what teams do, you know? That's what you do.
Have you ever been called a barnacle before?
In a good way. It's a good thing.
Cool. All right. How about, because the live shot was so great, let's talk to Julianne about her experience today.
Okay, so pretty much this morning I don't even know, my brain is fried. I don't even know what I did today.
You did a wonderful live shot.
I did do a wonderful live shot. Okay, so I had this story, and I did the Hazinski tree, and I called every single person I could think of, and then finally I just went out. I went to the police department, but as I was there, I got an email that someone could interview with me, and I was like, okay. So then I'm downtown, shooting, and then the mayor calls me, and she's like, I can interview with you, and I was like, it's working out. And so this was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, though. But so then I did all that. I came back. I edited that package 30 minutes, and that's literally, you could probably tell because that's the fastest I've ever edited it. So
great video. There were a couple of shots in your story. I just went, oh my gosh.
Okay, good, because I was really scared. And then I literally ran to the live shot. I was like, and I don't know. I'm gonna die. But thank you for everyone who helped me, because I know I was like, Heather, can you turn in my equipment? Can you turn in my package? But it worked out. But I definitely learned a lot today about myself, and that woman that emailed that said I was rude was.
Oh yeah, we got a complaint
someone
on her.
said that I was rude, but I really wasn't.
You really weren't.
So
you really weren't. What? No, I got a phone call. I get a few of those.
She got a phone call that I sent in a rude email. She made her read it to her, and then she was like, well, actually, that wasn't rude. So, but it worked out.
You know, the worst of you, like Julianne, that are so loud, obnoxious, and rude, I'll get phone calls on. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Not.
There were mock show people there, too, so that's why she was upset. But, yeah. So now my brain's fried, but it's over. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, well, we'll give the last word to Ashley, today's show producer. You have 45 seconds, and you can watch the little timer right there.
Oh, I see it. I'll just say it one more time. I just felt like we were a team. It was just really nice seeing people work together. Nobody was like, no, I'm not helping you out. I have to do my, it was just awesome. I could go around and talk about everybody's greatness, but they already know. So
Yeah, I'm kind of over that.
She's over that.
Next week
is the election.
Step up your game, guys. We have the election. You guys have an amazing opportunity at Tuesday night. Do your homework. Stay safe.
Yes.
Don't worry about all that other nonsense that's happening this weekend. You have a challenge to your community Tuesday night with